Issues at hand.
A very good morning to you, our viewer, and thank you so much for keeping it Church of Uganda Family TV. This is Issues at Hand, and you know what is at hand currently is, of course, the political landscape everywhere. You know, we are discussing politics here and there. Just that is because it is the right season that we are in, and as you can see here in studios, I have a number of people who are coming from that exact lane, and we're going to be discussing how the electorate can be well represented out there, and who is the electorate otherwise. We shall also be getting to that shortly, but I want to introduce to you the man that you have always known, Honorable John Ken Luchamuzi. He has been a member of parliament, he has served the nation, and now he is here once again on coming in as an aspirant for Lubaga South constituency here in Kampala. Good morning, Honorable.
Good morning. I'm excited to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you.
I'm in front of a very smart room and a framework.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure. You can also greet our people.
I would like also to greet people that view this family television, which I have always attended with love and joy. And I hope I'll make use of this exposition.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to have you indeed. And here is...
I'm also glad to meet my sister here.
Oh,
yeah.
That's interesting.
We have met before and we have always had very cordial discussions. We hope in this kind of combination could talk to the stars and develop the waves.
All right. Yeah. Very interesting. It's a pleasure to have you indeed. And we have here... the names are quite a number, but it's a pleasure to have you. It's one long name. It's a pleasure to have you, and you should know that she is a human rights activist, but in this particular case, she is coming as an aspirant for Kampala, a woman member of parliament. It's a pleasure to have you, Nalongo Nana Mafrika.
Thank you, dear host. Thank you, viewers of Family TV. And yes, it's one long name, Nana Namata Anet Mwafrika.
Okay,
yes.
It's a pleasure to have you as well. So we understand politics has taken a stride. We may not compare ourselves where we were in 1962 to now, but if we are to look back in regards to representing the electorate out there, Honorable, I want to come to you. You have represented these people, but now if we are to draw a little bit of comparison, maybe in the past 5 years, what has been the difference? What specifics, or even apart from that, I'll even ask you later on the gaps that you have seen in the representation. But if you can first draw for us a comparison, in the past 5 years, how has been the representation?
Yeah, thank you very much for beginning with me. But before I say anything, I'd like to pay tribute to people in whose mind I will never forget. I would not have been what I am without them. My association with them basically made me what I am today.
Okay.
And in particular is Professor Ali Mazui, who met me at a school debating festival, and I admired the way I was articulating the issues.
Okay.
I decided that I would spend my holidays at campus at his expense. So I joined the university before I maturely would qualify to become a member of the university community in Makerere.
Wow.
I would like to pay tribute to him. The entourage I usually had in his presence, the combination in terms of friends that I met within his whims, people like Professor Walter Rodney, people like the late Tom Boyer, people like the late Odinga. I came to know them through Professor Mazui, and I have no regret for having associated myself with them.
Okay.
In fact, I am what I am basically because of Professor Ali Mazui.
Okay.
He passed on in 2014. I was not in the country, so I could not participate in the burial function. But I continue praising him and thanking God for having given me a friend I will never forget, even when I go to the grave.
Wow. May
That
so
put
rest in
aside,
peace.
you have put a wonderful question before me. Certainly, there is a big difference between the current parliamentary practice framework and the parliament that I saw so many years ago. I came to parliament in 1996, and I found in parliament spectacular women and men, many of whom are still in my mind. The likes of the late Agrawali, Dr. Kulepak, the present Honorable Okero Okero, Ben Wacha is still living. Many stars are still living, whom I joined with to make Parliament a wonderful instrument of political discussion. When you relate what is happening today, you even shed tears. For example, I and the Honorable Agrawari rose up in political debates through an area or a chapter on the order paper called a matter of national concern. When we spotted an issue on the spot, we would raise it without notifying the person concerned in advance.
Okay.
That is where we caught many of them on the platform. And I remember that the decision of the Africa Democratic Institute to give maximum credit to us, the two of us, Agrawari and I, getting the gold medals for exceptional parliamentary practice, was basically focused through our intervention using that program of a matter of public concern.
Okay.
I do not see many members of parliament making full use of that chapter, and yet it is a chapter which a parliamentarian can use to shake a parliament.
Okay.
A member of parliament is not a delegate. To borrow the words of Edmund Burke, a very prominent parliamentarian in the British House of Commons. A member of parliament is a representative. The aspect of articulation of issues intellectually matters a great deal to add value to what is being discussed, which is a rare spectacle in the present day parliamentary practice.
Wow, very interesting. And now, Nalongo Nana, over to you. If you're to look at the current representation of the electorate, is it what it is supposed to be, or have we gone astray?
Good morning, viewers, again. I have listened to my senior leader's submission, and as a first-timer who's coming in a different, unique perspective, woman leader, my thinking is that we need a thoughtful, principled, solution-oriented representation. We need a parliament. We need to make parliament look like the people it serves. If you look at, for example, the number of youth as compared to the seniors, the percentage is really high. If you see, if we have nearly halfway of the country is women, why shouldn't we have women?
Of them.
Yes, more of them in parliament. For me, in my thinking, diversity isn't, symbolism. It is about better decision making. Parliament must reflect those it's there to serve. But when you look at what we're experiencing today, a lot of decisions, in my view, are being made by, elitist minority. We must admit that we are at times where the system, especially our 40-year-old government, where not much has changed for the better, has caused indeed for quality at every level to drop. We have leaders without a conscience. We have leaders that do not have heart for the people they are leading. This we live in our daily lives. As even an aspiring woman member of parliament, as I speak, since I brought out my head to lead, I am suffering political witch hunt. There are threats on every level that I may not go deep into, and threats coming from people that have been in leadership. Ministers, a minister hunting up a small woman who thinks she can bring something on the table in decision making. There is intent to just shut down any divergent thinking, any different views. There is intent to keep things as was, as what I won it before, I must win it again, I must stick in it. But the times have changed. You're talking of 70 plus out of 100 being youth. But we see incumbents that are taking their 5th term, and this doesn't ring a bell on the side of what are things like. What will things be like if the majority, who are the youth, a big number are women, but you only want like 30% or 20 of them in there, even with this special thing of let's give a woman leader to every district. I think that we must aim at leadership that is solution-oriented. We have problems that cannot be solved by simply having only elitist politics over and over. We need decisions made based on the challenges that are currently disturbing the populace, and particularly our youth that are not employed. Yes, it's my thinking.
Very interesting. And now I'm going back to Honorable. We have seen the role of the electorate as well. And we already know the voting culture. It is either by influence of this or that. So what role? Because we are not going to come at the end of the day and say the Honorable so-and-so is not representing us well, yet we are the same people that have sent them there. So what do you think of the influence that is put into our politics currently in the electoral process? Either money or people, maybe it's influence of fame, things like that. Because I also see that affecting the level at which someone is represented up there.
Yeah, there are two things. One, the COVID dilemma must have disorganized our politics.
Okay.
And it came at a time when we were in the pipeline in terms of preparation before people were voted for in Parliament. That was a very big dilemma. The second dilemma is that the tradition of parliamentary practice in Uganda related to the 2 or 3 past parliaments, namely Parliament 6, Parliament 7, and Parliament 9, where I was, immeasurably differs from what I'm seeing now. The rules of procedure of Parliament matter a great deal. Many a person who is to influence what Parliament passes must be systematic and must measure his systems on the basis of the rules of procedure. The Parliament which ignores the rules of procedure cannot prosper. And I think it is a big dilemma the present Parliament is facing. I, for one, I have been forced to seek to come back for many reasons. One, the population in Lubaga South has admired the way I was interacting with my colleagues in Parliament, and they are demanding that I should not abandon the population. Two, I came to redeem the image of Lubaga South. Lubaga South as a constituency was at one time in the mountains, so high in terms of standard and contributions, passing laws, resolutions, and what have you. All that is lost in the last 10 years. I have not seen any performance of substance, so to speak. I have come back also to pursue or to make the present parliament regain its esteem. Parliamentary practice is very important. Without parliament of substance, you cannot guarantee democratic survival. Constitutionalism is checked through parliament. So I came on a very big note. I was expecting the Buganda caucus by now to have started planning how we can revive the glory of regional governance, which is already part of the constitution. So that what is in the constitution is shrewd federalism, which needs reform by addressing the deficiencies that made it difficult for us to get it going. Regional governance was supposed to have begun way back in 2006. The people ignored it because of the deficiencies involved. They wanted, you can start federalism in a smaller way, but a non-distortionary way, something which is real. So someone was bullying us. For example, up to now, you have minister in charge of Karamoja, minister in charge of northern Uganda, minister in charge of Kampala. What is that? That is duping the population that you have a semblance of federalism, which is not. So I came to redeem society as a debater of substance. I have already got a petition. It's the moment I'm elected, I go to Parliament to move a motion seeking to amend Article 178 of the Constitution, Article 176, Article 5 of the Constitution to address the scenarios of deficiencies prevalent in that law, which people boycotted because of those scenarios. So I will first of all address the sharing of powers between the center and the regions. There are 16 of them. What are the connecting links between the two? That is number one. What powers will they wield? Number two is the issue of fiscal policy. The fiscal policy aspect is a fundamental aspect when you are talking about federal governance, the taxes. The regional tier was suppressing all that vigor, which is supposed to be a must in a federal practice. So I would like to make sure that the regions know what taxes to levy and to collect, separate from the center, which should also know the taxes it is going to mount at the parliamentary national level. I would also like people to know that we are poor today because of the mismanagement syndrome. Uganda is one of the most badly managed societies. Uganda is becoming unnecessarily too expensive to manage because all the funds are mounted towards addressing the phenomenon of defense and security. Why should Uganda UPDF be in 7 countries outside Uganda? Equatorial Guinea, Sudan, Nigeria, Congo, Somalia, Burundi, Central African Republic, mentioned so many of them. Why? What factor of defense are we still pursuing after being liberated from the shackles of lack of democracy so many years ago? What are we pursuing? All the money is going to address security, and the man who is supposed to address security is not checked, the president. So we are poor not because we are supposed to be poor. We are poor because we don't know where the money is to be spent. I would like to address a scenario where the 16 regions share defense security responsibilities with the center, so that not only the center must address security, the regions will equally address security. There is a lot of security which is costless that we require from the umbrellas of the regions. Then you have the scenario another very important scenario of the sharing of resources. Karamoja is not poor. What is happening right now, the central government is the one who knows which investors to take to Karamoja. And we don't see any money related to natural resources
in Karamoja.
Forwarded towards the consolidated fund. It is consumed privately and it is shunned like that. There is a problem.
Wow.
On top of that, we would like to know, for example, what responsibilities in terms of social services should the regions wield. Social services is a very important aspect in regional governance. During the first 4 years of federalism in Uganda, between 1962 and 1967, Uganda had the highest income per capita in East and Central Africa, with the exception of South Africa. The GDP of Uganda was most outstanding. Mbale in Bugishu was the cleanest town in East Africa. All those achievements have been shunned away because of the unitary meaningless system of government. So the time is now for us to share responsibilities so that we run the country collectively. And by so doing, we'll have sufficient reserves in terms of money to put medicine in hospitals and improve education as well as the works area. Right now, the mass of coexistence in terms of economics is dependent on one family, one man. That practice must stop because when we became independent, we assumed that local governance should equally share governance to help the center run the country.
Right.
That is why I'm coming back as a debater of substance to put the matter across in Parliament in terms of articulation of ideas.
Very interesting. And we shall be able to take a very short break, and we shall return back with Nalongo to take us through the influence of politics, especially the fact that you did mention that the biggest population are the young people. And apparently those are the people that are influenced most. So how that works out is what we are going to be returning with immediately after the break.
Issues at hand. Issues at hand.
Welcome back. You are watching Issues at Hand, and today with me in studios is Honorable John Ken Luchamuzi, aspiring for Lubaga South, a member of parliament, and also here Nalongo Nana Namata Annette, who is an aspirant for the Kampala woman member of parliament, and we are discussing how we the electorate can be well represented. We had a number of discussions. I'm just going back to Honorable Ken to give us a conclusion of what he was elaborating, such that we can get a proper gist of it.
So the point I wanted to make is that since the abolition of the 1962 federal constitution, way back in 1966, Uganda has not seen the light of day. Even when President Museveni came, we thought that he was a messiah who would bring us the goods that we have been lacking all the time. Up to now, nothing has been realized. So I am coming on an intervention to address one of the key semasonga of Buganda, ensonga za Buganda etaano. One of them is federalism. It is the one I'm coming to address, practically and intellectually. And when I do so, I will enable the 16 regions to respectively share the natural resources so that we develop.
Okay.
Out of that, we are going nowhere. And I call upon all my colleagues from various political parties, good enough the PFFF, along those lines is with us. We are all pursuing a federal framework to ensure that Ugandans share resources they were supposed to get after independence. Short of the participation of the local government in the scenario of natural resources and the sharing of resources, we are going nowhere. The PDM has meant nothing to us. PDM, you are lending money to the young people. They have no expertise on how to use that money. They will go on being indebted all the time. So the best mechanism to empower the young people is through a framework of regional governance where their respective regions share the national cake to enable them prosper.
All right. Oh, thank you. So, Nalongo, I had posed a question. You did mention, and of course it is very vivid, that the youth occupy the biggest population in our country, but then these are the most people who are influenced. If I come around on a rally with my money, trust me, at the end of the day, that can somehow influence. So, and of course, this in the long run also affects the representation in parliament there. So what is your submission in regards to the influence and majorly relating it to the young population?
The numbers, the young population is very big, followed by, of course, women. Women are many, youth are many, and yet we see less representation of the same. I think that I had stopped by telling you that when too many decisions are made by distant elites, you know, people the youth have never even met, a leader that's never been to a school to morale boost the youth, teach them about civics and something. My take is that we have to begin with we have to begin by aiming at a populace that's informed. An electorate that is informed is the best protection against the populism we are seeing today. Is the best protection against having people that are very distant from these youth and we the women. If you, I vying for the Kampala woman MP seat, I want to focus also very much on the gender lens. Women's lived experiences must be set free to set policy. You know, if women are at the table of decision making, we have a better, lower mortality rate, we have better hospitals, maternity, we have cleaner, we have daycares, maybe even funded by our taxes, because when you say government, people definitely here are thinking it's NRM. We need daycares that are funded by the taxpayer money. We need formations that truly help the youth. Civic education in schools. Most of the schools we attended had, the time I was in school, we had subjects like civic education. You learned something about a good leader. You were taught something about managing society. These subjects, about 2 of them, political education and civic, they were quietly pulled off the syllabus. And nobody noticed what it would come to. I don't know when they were taken off, but as a mother who has started to have children, maybe around, who has people aged, the oldest being around 22, none of my children came home with a report that talked of political education or civics. And we began to, and nobody really asks, no parent asks why is what we studied. While it's good to modify things, because today they have gadgets that we also never had, it's also good to keep the important things alive. Because if a student is going to start learning about managing society at university level, it's problematic. We need a situation where children as early as primary 7, secondary 1 are learning about governance openly. But and then have them understand about politics, form youth councils within the schools who talk directly to parliament, form women councils that really put something to shape the policy in that house. Yes, to think of empowering the youth. If the youth are as disempowered as we see, all that's there for them is selfish plans. Let's hand them a piglet, let's hand them 1 chicken, so they start there, let's lend them 10,000. It will not, it doesn't work. Empowerment needs to be constitutional. These children need to benefit from the resources within their regions. At PFF, we are talking federal, reviving federal governance. Should we take power? Because then every region benefits from that's theirs before they export part of it to the rest. We get to share. If Kasese has this, they share with Kampala. If Karamoja has this, they share like that. That means that the youth that hail from there, not all of them have to come running to big cities like Kampala, because at the level of their region, there is already a plan to empower them constitutionally. But these handouts, give them a piglet, let's see how much it produces in a year, it is hopeless. By the time a young man leaves university, they are able to decide what they want to do, if it's a piglet they want to raise, or if it's a trade, small trade or whatever. So for me, I think that politics has remained very expensive and exclusive, mainly excluding, today it's excluding youth and we the women the most. How is it doing this? It's too expensive. We need to begin to see a day where there is funding, public funding for campaigns. That way you won't have elitists that have looted money before from the same rotten systems coming to throw peanuts and 2,000 shillings at their own children, the youth, to influence them, to vote them for a worse and worse parliament each year. You know? We need transparency. We need a system where if campaigns can be funded and it's constitutional, you will have a nurse, you will have a teacher, you can have even a small business owner come and run and win, so that we have a parliament that's inclusive, so that we don't keep reproducing a parliament of just business as usual politicians who have benefited from resources unfairly, by the way. And this is the feeling in the population out there. I have talked to people as an aspiring MP. The people are so angry at politics. They feel like politics is something that's done to them rather than something they are involved in and are working on themselves. It has started to feel like something that's being done to them by a small group of people. So for me, my thinking is that we need to make Parliament accessible by all people that are able to have a view to bring, not just the wealthy and the well-connected, those with godfathers. Power needs to come closer and closer to the people by making it possible for more women, more youth to run and win these positions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, very interesting. And now if we can speak, because I understand we have less than 10 minutes left. So I want us to speak to the constituencies that we are going to be representing. Honorable, I'm coming to you now. And what I want to understand now is what should the people of Rubaga South expect from you, because you have not been around and now you have come, as you said, for redemption. What should the people expect this time round?
I want Rubaga South to regain its esteem that it once commanded. At one time, Rubaga South was one of the best parliamentary seats in Uganda's parliament. I want that esteem to be regained. I want the esteem of good performance among parliamentarians to be regained. We should not have substandard members of parliament. People should be voted with a purpose of going to parliament to represent the people. Above all, the most outstanding problem facing Uganda today is the problem of governance. The rate at which government is run is too expensive for our economy. For example, why should a country with 45 million people run a parliament of 550 MPs when India, which has a population of 1.4 billion people, has a parliament of 540 MPs? Why should we have a cabinet of 82 ministers? Why should we have 600 RSDCs? Why should we have UPDF whose number is not known to us with the taxpayers? Why should we have 60 battalions outside Uganda in different 6 countries outside Uganda? Why should UPDF continue to reign in 6 countries outside Uganda? What continuous wars are we still fighting after the Luwero liberation? There is a problem we must put to the owners of Uganda through this coming vote. Vote people with the capacity to make things better.
Okay. And how do you intend to change some of these systems? We have a cabinet. How will your voice
in
change?
My house, my voice will change that.
Because even the parliament that we're talking about has over 300 members of parliament coming from the ruling party.
Yes,
influence.
Yes. The record I've left is still standing. I was one person, but I passed a number of resolutions which became law. So it is how you use the perception of persuasion when you are a legislator.
Okay.
You have the mechanics of persuading members of parliament. I'm going to persuade them through the notion of regional governance. That, for example, young people in Uganda are dominant in population. How do we cater for their economies of scale? We can only do that through the sharing of resources using the regions, so that each of the 11 cities showed us some outstanding responsibility to be able to service the young people, instead of lending them money through PDM continuously as if they are workers.
Okay, Nalong.
Yes.
Kampala
So,
has had a number of challenges here and there. Now also the representation in the past 5 years. So what should we expect?
For me, I want to appeal to the electorate. I want to appeal to the people of Kampala this time. You people, let us, democracy isn't a spectator game. We must get involved. Let's stop looking at these things from a distance. My thinking and my advice is that we want a parliament that looks like our country, like the people, that sounds like our country and fights for our country. If you haven't seen someone that looks like you in parliament, maybe it's time to put me there. Because I am you. We are the common dwellers, the first, the workers at the bottom of this pyramid that are getting the least out of our resources, getting the least in services, in terms of services, getting the least in terms of employment for our children. So let's work together to see that Parliament is really representing who we are. Let's forget the old elitist politics. It's only so and so who can manage. How do we test the ability of others if we are systematically pushing out the others by making politics very commercialized, very expensive? We need a parliament where the people speak directly to the formation of the policies that should benefit us. That's my thinking, and I think that I must encourage the people of Kampala, look out for people, ability. Check out for people that look like you, not people that are going to come and feign looking like you during campaigns. During campaigns, they want to put on gomasi and come to your markets and eat the kachumbari with you. After that, they are going to go and put on suits and run away. Look for your fellow women that have their kitengi, their dera on, fellow women with whom you speak the same language, leaders that are not going to run away from you, leaders that love who we are as Ugandans. Let's restore leadership and forget about, business as usual politics that has hurt us this far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. So as we wind up, I want us to speak to our voters, maybe for that last moment. But also, as I want us to, I want to understand from the two of you, the Central Region has these years. What are the strategies you are going to implement to beat off these things of when you see this sign, vote, when you see this, vote? How are you going to go about that kind of system and the kind of population we are in right now? Honorable.
You're talking about the signals for voting?
Yes, the signals of voting. Someone will come and tell you, if you see the bus, vote. If you see the umbrella, vote. Apart from that, do not. And that is the trend now in the Central Region.
I think there is a difference between this year's elections and the elections of the past.
Okay.
I am happy that many politicians are trying to articulate their manifestation through litigation, through public assemblies. And in the case of Rubaga South, the manifesto here speaks it all.
I love the back.
I'm paying a tribute to Comrade Dr. Kiza Besige and Aji Rutale for in respect of that suffering they are undergoing through continuous incarceration, as if they have a case to answer. They don't have any case to answer. The government of Uganda does not want them to participate in this election as if they are not Ugandans. They are Ugandan people who should be let free because they have no cause for being detained. I would like to request the people of Rubaga South to vote for John Ken Lukyams, because during my time in Parliament I performed. I'm coming back on an emergency point to redeem the nation that has been cut off from the making use of the rights we are entitled to as per the Constitution of Uganda through regional governance. And regional governance which are guaranteed, for example, the existence of our cultural leaders. As we speak now with reference to the Constitution, the cultural leaders are nowhere in the Constitution in terms of existence. You cannot guarantee them before you put in place the regional government's order which will respectively protect those leaders.
Wow. Thank you so much, Honorable.
I hope you understand.
I've understood, absolutely. So, Nalungu, the people of Kampala are there listening.
To the people of Kampala, dear electorates, We've come this far. We've learned valuable lessons from the past representation that hasn't fetched us very much in terms of services. We are where we are. My appeal to you, firstly, I can let you go with this line. It's not who sits in the chambers. That's not what Parliament is. It should be how many lives finally get touched, how many voices get heard, and how many Ugandans' lives will get changed eventually, because this is what policy should be about, to better the teachers' lives, to better the salary of the policeman. I think that the fresh voices you need at Parliament should sound like mine, women that have really lived the challenges that we see, shun elitists that are using mismanaged resources, bagfuls from our mismanaged resources, coming to buy you with 2,000 to ruin you for the next 5 years. Please, let's look for ability. Let's look for resilience amongst our leaders. Let's all advocate for fairness and an inclusive parliament at that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So I am returning with a purpose.
Okay.
Spectacular performance in a spectacular formation.
All right.
I am bringing the new voice that Parliament desperately needs.
Wow.
Otherwise, coming back is not evil.
Not at all. Not at all.
Onyango, who belongs to the FUFA, retired almost,
yeah,
but he's surfacing successfully.
Yeah.
And when he did, we won in Botswana.
Thank you so much.
And my submission shouldn't pass to say the likes. I mean, the likes who had a point that the Parliament misses. Parliament misses voices like theirs. It's often mentioned in the street.
Yeah, sure.
Mine is to mean inclusivity, inclusive. People have been excluded using cash looted from us while we watch like this.
Wow. That's very interesting. I want to appreciate my two panelists here today. And I believe you picked a message. It is not about you voting, but it is about voting a purpose and voting the people that are going to represent you, such that you have all those services that you would desire to have there. Our appeal is to all the stakeholders in this electoral season that we continue to uphold peace. Thank you for joining us this morning. My name is Luke Majumba Alinaitwe. Have a lovely day. Please stay on. We have coffee break with Rita Nandera.
Issues at hand.